It is now time for the Port Podcast. Three, two, one, we are rolling. Welcome back, everybody, for season 2 of the Port Podcast. I'm so excited to be here with my co-host, Craig.
We made it back. We were renewed.
We're ready to go, though, and we have such a great guest with us today. Will Crosby, what is going on? Thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We are so excited. We've talked about Crosby so much. I mean, you're the longest standing user at the Port. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get right into it. I mean, from our perspective at the Port Authority, we're so grateful to have Crosby, and for well over 100 years, you've had a huge presence here. You've seen a lot of change. We're excited to dive into that a little bit. What you and your family have seen over the last 100 plus years at the Port and your interaction with the Port, and then just get a general update on all the great goods that you sell. And let's dive right in. So about that history, go maybe share a little bit, Will, about the origins of Crosby and the Port.
Yeah, sure. So it's actually our 145th anniversary this year.
Wow. Well deserving.
Yeah. We always have applause for big milestones like that, and being in business for over 100 years is not something that you hear of too often. Yeah. So I think it's definitely give credit where credit is due. It's great.
Yeah. So the company was founded by my great-great-grandfather in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, actually, in 1879, and then relocated to St. John in 1896 to take advantage of the bustling port at that time.
Right.
So they originally set up in Market Slip, and were bringing puncheons of molasses from Barbados, and did that for a long time until the 1950s, where they relocated to Courtney Bay. And put in a bulk tank farm where they're able to bring in tanker ships of molasses.
Wow. And the current location that you're in today, just remind us and all the viewers, where are you located today within the port?
Yeah, so today we're on the west side. So we would have relocated from Courtney Bay to the west side in 1971. We originally erected 3 tanks. 2 that were 1 million gallons and 1 that was 750,000. Wow. Ran out of that facility until 98. Then we sort of expanded the footprint and took over the neighboring facility that was previously a Shell facility and rolled that into the operation over there.
So very interesting. I mean, if you look at the port itself and how it evolved over that time, we went from kind of the mid 1850s to 1900, just a bustling shipbuilding, lumber merchant community. St. John was amongst the biggest cities in pre-Confederation and post-Confederation, all up along the North American seaboard, and you folks played such a big role that coming in 1900. But you've also seen the ups and the downs too. The port had a bit of a downturn in the early 1900s, and then became a bustling winter port. Took advantage of all that activity, was very complimentary to Montreal when the St. Lawrence Seaway was frozen in the winter. We had a lot of people employed on the waterfront. And then, unfortunately, kind of as you moved west in 1970, we put the existing container terminal in place a year later in 1972. And while there were some good early successes, really we've seen quite a decline that's only reversed recently from 1980 to 2021. We actually had a decline if you look at the hours worked on the waterfront from that period, and now we're finally seeing that uptick. So you've weathered so much change. How do you and your family, talk about strategically placing your company kind of within the marketplace, considering the world has changed so much around you in 140 years?
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to keep up and stay relevant, and diversify our offering to cater to changing consumer tastes. So actually, this year we changed our company name. So we changed our company name from Crosby Molasses to Crosby Foods, just to better portray the diversity of our offering.
Yeah.
Molasses is still very much core to our business. But we just found having the product in our company name was a little bit limiting.
Absolutely.
Call
As a marketing
customers.
person, it's a key word that if you're looking to expand on a broader audience, they might only seek you out if you only have that keyword. So you need to diversify how you're marketing those products and your portfolio to make sure that you're, staying competitive in a global market, right? Especially with so many changes in manufacturing and supply chain, which is, from my perspective, season one working with the port, I've learned so much. I've lived in St. John my entire life, and that's 35 years. And I thought I knew a lot about the very pillar companies that were here. I've learned so much in the past year, just understanding how companies like Crosby Foods now, not only over past 145 years, allows us to, have so much work on the waterfront, allows us to change processes of how we bring product here. And it also, I think, sets precedent for other people, because now we have a lot more attention on our port and on our city for business opportunities, for shipping, for so much. So I just think it's cool from someone who lives here. I know you guys live here too, but from that perspective, you don't know what you don't know. And I've learned so much just about how your product moves around. And I think, the more people can understand that, the more we can kind of understand the opportunities here in the city.
No question. So tell us, Will, a little more about what are the products you offer? Because it's, now Crosby Foods, you have quite a diverse range of products that consumers, enjoy on a daily basis.
Yeah, so beyond molasses, we do a lot of powdered beverages and powdered desserts. So drink crystals, jelly powders, and hot chocolate is actually a major product we produce as well for a co-manufacturing client. Mm-hmm. And we pack organic sugar, and we would sell, invert sugar to other food manufacturers. And at the West Side facility, so all those products are manufactured on Rosse Avenue in our packing plant. On the West Side, it's our bulk storage and handling facility. So we offer third-party storage and handling services, and we store magnesium chloride and various grades of fish oil for third-party customers.
So I know we're going to talk a lot about the port and your interaction with the port, but just before we turn away from Rosse Avenue, I had a chance to tour with Will the facility. Do you want to describe a little bit about the operation, the technology there? Because I was just wowed with the amount of innovation you guys have put into that Rosse Avenue facility.
Yeah, so the facility's changed a lot over the years. It was originally built in 1911. And today it's got 11 different production lines. So we would operate 3 different horizontal form, fill, and seal lines that focus on non-allergen containing products. We would have a dry cartoning line, a wet cartoning line, a wet bottling line, 2 bulk fill lines, and then 3 other horizontal form, fill, and seal machines that do allergen-containing product.
Yeah.
I had a chance to tour it recently too, and working in manufacturing before and being at, different facilities around New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, I was absolutely blown away, because when you're driving by Ross Avenue and you're driving by what you think is happening inside, and then you go in and you see the level of cleanliness, the way that staff and people are talking to each other, the way that you store products, the way that you have a very specific time, place for everything, is actually a reminder to some of the best businesses around as well, to make sure that they're doing their checks and balances. From a continuous improvement perspective, it was one of the best facilities I've ever seen. Beautiful. And I learned more about a lot of the products that I see and how they get to where I am just by touring for an hour. And I think, to go back to what you had asked, how do you and your family stay competitive and look at business? I think it's by looking at opportunities about storing products, making sure you're always looking above and beyond to what you can produce and what you can store and what automation solutions might be in place. And I've seen all of that at your facility. So it was really refreshing to see.
Yeah, you touched on something earlier, Cait. I think that's important too. We've talked a lot with other guests last year when we did the podcast. It's what is the value proposition that existing customers of the port and existing users of the port have, and how do we leverage that to create more? And I think your Rosse Avenue facility specifically, not to mention your port facility, is a model because of the proximity to rail as well. The new clients, the new folks that we talk to on a daily basis that are interested in St. John now that we've picked up our container activity, we have a little bit more going on here. They always ask about, can we do value add like you do at Crosby's? And how close can we get to the rail line? Your facility is next to the rail line at Ross Avenue. So I don't know if you have any comments on just how key rail is to your past and your current up.
Yeah, no, for sure. Rail plays a very important role in our facility east. We're able to bring in bulk sugar by rail and also bulk liquid products by rail. And actually, we're in the process of commissioning a rail siding at our west side facility as well. So that'll be up and running at the end of May.
Yeah, so let's dive right into the west side facility because we've mentioned it a few times. So the rail siding is obviously a huge capital project, but you've made investments there for the last 5 to 10 years. But maybe just describe a little bit about the handling and how you get how you get goods off those liquid bulkers into your tanks.
Yeah, so there's actually 56 different tanks over there at that facility with total storage capacity of more than 43,000 metric tons. And today, everything comes in either by tanker ship or container. So we would bring in, a tanker ship, hook up our pipeline, and it would pump directly into our storage tanks. And then we would load tanker trucks today. In the future, we'll have the ability to load rail cars as well. So it just, makes us a lot more flexible and more attractive to customers if, we offer that service as well.
And maybe describe a little bit too, how do you get the material from the ship to the tank?
Yeah, so there's a pipeline that runs from the tank. It goes underground for a small section. Well, depending on the pier. So there's if we're at Pier 12, it's like a 800 meter pipeline. Part of it's temporary. We erect it when the ship arrives. If we're at Pier 10, it's actually 1,200 meters. And molasses doesn't pump very well in cold weather, so we try to avoid the winter months when we're.
I think that's the coolest thing, though, because I remember being outside and thinking, like, wow, like the way that they're shipping it right outside the facility, and just thinking about you guys sitting in a room and coming up with a strategic plan that has these outlets like at these specific piers to make sure that you're getting the best flow, pun intended, of your product, but also the best product for your customer. I think that should always be a reminder to companies who are either starting businesses or who are looking at what their 5-year plan is and really thinking bigger picture about it. And it's so cool to me to see the level of work that you guys are doing over there.
Thank you.
Oh no, you're welcome. It's not just like an applause podcast for the great work you do.
You got buttons.
I know, right? Hold on.
Start using them.
There we go, guys. We've got some clapping going on, but I really do feel that way.
There's a laugh button. All these we're now on 18. All these jokes I've been telling you haven't hit the laugh button yet.
Season 2 exclusives, you guys. See? Just like that.
See how easy that would have been? Yeah.
Right?
Anyway, we're off the rails.
But
now.
no,
Pardon the pun.
but it is so. That was a good one. Oh my God.
It could be funny too.
No, I really do feel that way. And I think that it's so refreshing also, from a recruitment and talent perspective. And I think that also goes into, that big relationship that you have with the port, because when people are looking for good work opportunities or, just ways of being part of, bigger picture, whether it be with environment or, just supply chain, it's a great way, whether with Crosby Foods or with the port, to have a great position in doing that. So I think the more people get to know about how business is done here at the port and at organizations like yours, it gives people a better understanding of not only what you do, but how they can participate, how they can advocate for people that might fit into those upcoming roles with growth, right? So I think the more you know, the better.
Sure. So give us a little bit of a sense of, your position in the market and where you see things going with Crosby Foods for the next 145 years.
Yeah.
The crystal ball.
Well, I can kind of tell you that, the position that we have in the market today on molasses is, really thanks to the port and our ability to bring in product in bulk by vessel. I think that's really kind of why we're the last sort of remaining bulk importer of premium molasses
Yep.
in Canada. So in the future, we want to diversify our offering even further than we have already, and look at, other, liquid sweeteners or edible oils that, we can flow through that facility and to the
That's
rest
super
of Canada
cool.
and North America.
That's so cool. To go back to what you're saying about the storage of like fish oils and things like that, it's just, I love how you guys are looking at every aspect of what it is that you produce or what byproducts you're doing. And you're looking at a way of figuring out, well, who can work with that? How do we get it there? And you're thinking about every process point instead of it just being, okay, we've made it and now it's out there. I think that's so important now, especially, after COVID, like improving those supply chain processes and really looking at where are the gaps and things. I don't think there's a gap in any part of your business. I think that's why, we're seeing you thrive in that perspective. So
yeah, it's really interesting from a food supply chain standpoint, and a cold chain. That it seems to be one of our better value propositions going forward in the containerized traffic too.
Yeah.
We put in a lot of refrigerated plugs for the containers. It was actually the first part of our original modernization project, was putting in a stackable, very, very easy to use refrigerated plugins. On the west side, they've been used with tremendous success, and we are looking at the potential of cold supply chain as well. We think it's a real big value, and it's really looking to you folks as the model from 100 plus years ago, 1896. Did you say it?
Yeah,
before?
1896.
It's incredible that you've been for all these years looking at food grade products and how you add value, and now we're starting to look at other companies to do the same thing. It's kind of back to the future.
I have a couple of questions. Could you tell us a few things that maybe people here in St. John, or maybe in where you originated, may not know about the company today?
Yeah, I think one is just that we do so much more than molasses, right? So, if you went into a Sobeys store in St. John or a Safeway in Vancouver, there would be 28 SKUs that would have been either produced or flowed through our facility on Rossay Avenue that you would find on the shelf, and then countless others that would actually include molasses as an ingredient or an input.
I know it's hard to choose. It's like choosing your favorite child, but is there a product that you love, that you produce, that's one of your favorites?
Well, look at my T-shirt today. You got fancy molasses.
He's got a whole pantry, and it's just dedicated to like different versions of molasses. The cartons, we've got just every version, right? Every recipe possible. Yeah. It's like a speakeasy, but for molasses lovers.
Yeah.
Does that exist at your house?
I've got several bottles and cartons. Yeah, for sure.
But the speakeasy of molasses is coming. Okay. That's coming soon, guys. Okay. What else might people not know about your business?
I think the other one, just like the best kept secret of the West Side, which we've talked a lot about today. A lot of people don't realize that facility exists. And what we're really trying to do is get the word out there of the storage and handling services that we offer there, and how we can play a key role in the supply chain and in this area of the country.
I really do think St. John, from everything that I've learned about like history and just about the businesses that have been here for 50, 100 years, you definitely see where the time is spent on strategic planning and where it's not. And I think, looking forward, St. John really is a great place to do business. It's economical. We have a lot of things that we're trying to put in place to make it smarter and more lucrative for businesses to come here. And I think there is kind of that notion, but in a smarter way, that build it and they will come. Because if you build those relationships and you foster what some of those needs are in a smart way, rather than road mapping everything you think that the customer or the stakeholder needs, you'll have a smarter and more sustainable relationship. So I'm really excited to kind of see what the next 5-10 years hold. Do you have any future predictions for what that might look like?
Yeah, so we're trying to, and I've said this a few times too, diversify our offering and look at more, better for you products. Today, a lot of the products we produce are high in sugar. So, getting away from that or moving more towards healthier options, that, we'd be proud to feed our kids and so.
That's a good one. I mean, we're all trying to take down the sugar intake sometimes, but you know, when it sells, I mean, who wouldn't want to sell more of that? So I think there's also something in the ethics and, you know, the core of who you are as a company to care about even wanting to make that improvement. And that's where that continuous improvement background, I see it on the floor. I see it in your core values as a company, and I see it what you're doing with what you want to do in the future. I think that's very admirable. And I would encourage, you know, those who might be interested to, you know, reach out to Crosby Foods, talk to people, reach out to those that work there on LinkedIn and ask about the culture, ask about potential upcoming opportunities, because it's a great facility. I'm not just saying that because I got the tour, but you know, if I were in a different career, I would be seeking out employment at a place like that or at the port. People that really foster, you know, good professional development and are looking 5-10 years out for healthy business. That's really, really important. And I think our city is really profiting off of that in so many ways. And I think it's a lot of people at the table making sure that they're spending the right time and facilitating the right relationships. That's all. That's what I got.
Well said.
That's what I got.
We're back. Season 2 is underway.
We're back, you guys. We're ready.
I feel like we haven't skipped a beat.
We're ready to roll. And okay, so last question. We asked about favorite products, but I want to know, because I took some home. I don't know if you got to take some merch home.
I didn't.
Well,
Missed opportunity.
Exclusive. Well, what's your favorite drink, Crystal?
My favorite drink, Crystal. I would probably have to say it's one that no longer is available.
To us. Probably you can get it.
It's in his speakeasy.
It's in the speakeasy,
You got to
guys.
go visit.
That's where it's at.
Personally.
It was discontinued in, probably the late 90s, early 2000s, and that was Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Man, 2025, bring it back.
I think we got to.
Might have to look.
All right, if you're listening to the show and you think we should bring it back, you're going to have to put a note in the comments, a kiwi emoji, and then the marketing team at Crosby Foods, they'll be the ones to tell you if it's coming back. Yeah. Look what we've done. We're already changing product diversification already in 2024.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Will, for joining us. Seriously, I know we talked about this for probably over a year, about having you on the show. So I think it's a perfect time to have you on. It's great. Is there anything else you want to let our guests know before we wrap up?
Eat more molasses.
Eat more molasses. Ask about products, and support your local businesses. That's why we're still in business, right? If you go out and you're looking, or you have questions about those SKUs, reach out to their team. I'm sure they'll tell you some of their secret products that they manufacture.
Yeah, and I guess I could just plug, our latest product launch as well, which is maple and molasses.
Oh.
So it's sort of the first product that we're going to be launching with Crosby Foods, and it's a blend of pure maple syrup and molasses.
Wow,
that sounds pretty good. I'm going to be honest, and I'm a picky person, but I would eat that for sure. Yeah. And if you have a favorite thing that you cook with Crosby's molasses, let us know in the comments. I'm curious. If it's an exclusive recipe, I understand, but let us know. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
I think we can say that's a sweet start to season 2.
That is a sweet start. That is a great start.
Come on, the laugh button.
I got you. It's funnier after.
It's so bad when you have to ask for the laugh button.
I know, right?
Jeez.
Producer who, right? Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to the crew filming. We appreciate you. And thank you for watching and for listening. And until next time, see you.
See ya.
Bye now.
Thanks so much for listening.